Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. We finally have some new stuff to talk about regarding Battlefield 6. Unfortunately, as this always seems to be, it is a leak, so we have to take everything that we see here with a massive grain of salt. But according to this Telegram leak, propaganda will apparently be coming to Battlefield 6 in some capacity. On top of that, from the same leaker, there have been multiple weapons data mined. So we're going to talk about all this stuff and just where Battlefield 6 is right now, because I don't know about you guys, but it's gotten real boring a little faster than I thought it would. I think they need to consider pretty much a full content pacing restructure, and we all know that's not going to happen. So hit the like button, hit the sub button if you want to keep up to date with everything Battlefield 6 related. I'm going to have more weapon videos, more tips, guides, everything like that, and swing by the streams. All links are in the description. So like I mentioned, this information is coming from leaks. These are, I believe, the same Telegram people that were leaking a lot of the stuff before Battlefield 6 came out. Apparently, they data mined something regarding propaganda, which was a really famous Battlefield 4 map set in Pyongyang, North Korea. It's the map with the statue, right, in the loading screen. I'm sure a lot of you will remember it now. When I first heard this, I wasn't really sure what to think. Because on one hand, propaganda would be pretty cool in Battlefield 6. But on the other hand, is propaganda really what the game needs right now when it comes to a map? It's another urban infantry-focused map. And I've already seen some consensus surrounding this as negative. Like, a lot of the Reddit posts were saying, oh, great, you know, just what the game needs, another urban map. So let's just hope if propaganda does end up being added to Battlefield 6, that it is a faithful recreation of it, and they don't do the thing where DICE tries to make it its own in Battlefield 6, and they change some of the layouts, and they make some buildings that weren't accessible before accessible, ruining the map flow, right? So I just hope they don't touch it too much. They faithfully recreate it, if indeed it is being added into Battlefield 6. Now, in terms of the new weapons that could be getting added, there are a bunch of them, but this could be old stuff from Battlefield 2042 or something like that. So we have the CZ805 Bren 2, CZ3A1, CZ75, CS5, I believe that's a sniper rifle, also from Battlefield 4, the RPL-20, not entirely sure what that is, VHS-D2, Origin 12, MG5, PL-15, and that's about it. So it isn't really clear if these weapons are being added all in Season 2. I would heavily doubt that. I would be shocked if we got this many weapons in a modern Battlefield season. And speaking of Season 2, Season 2 has become way more important than it ever needed to be. A lot of people are really already saying that if they don't nail Season 2, this game is done. I think that's, a little ridiculous. But I do think Season 2 has to come out just absolutely swinging, and they can't fumble anything. We need to start hearing about real important changes coming to the game. We need good maps. They can't really afford to fumble with any of these new maps being added in Battlefield 6 like they did with Blackwell Fields in Season 1. They essentially have to be flawless for at least 2 seasons in a row now to really satisfy the player base of Battlefield 6, because in terms of the #1 issues I see people talk about with this game, the maps come up, I think, the most often. People are not satisfied with the map selection. Whenever I look around and see people talking about maps, they are always asking for basically larger, more Battlefield-y maps to, I guess, satisfy that section of the player base. But I think we really need to start talking about how just how difficult some of these gameplay issues are to fix in Battlefield 6. I'll give you guys some examples. Taking a look at Battlefield 6's gameplay issues, a lot of them are really deep-rooted, and some of them are extremely complicated to fix, to the point where I doubt they will really ever be addressed. And the main issue that all of these smaller issues are causing is Battlefield 6's gameplay just lacks depth. It really has the depth of a puddle. I mean, the vehicle gameplay is a shadow of its former self, and the infantry gameplay, as of right now, just isn't as good as it could be because of multiple reasons, which I will now go into. #1, the close range time to kill is 100% too fast. I am really tired of the 3 bullet to kill ranges. Sub 200 millisecond time to kill just doesn't really leave much room for, like, fights, right? It's just sort of, you just instantly die in a lot of these gunfights if you make a single mistake regarding anything. And when you consider the current state of the visibility and the current state of the confusing audio, it's real easy to make a mistake. So the infantry gameplay right now is just cheapened. It can be fixed, but improving the time to kill, specifically in close quarters, is not as simple as it sounds. It's going to require basically a small time to kill pass, which you have to rebalance every single gun in the game, but then you have to consider, they also have to consider red sex balance, and that becomes way more complicated. Then you have to ask yourself, why do headshots not matter? Well, for the same reason, I think DICE really intentionally designed the game to be over-casualized, which sacrificed a lot of depth in the gameplay. Another example of this is muzzle velocities. You take a look at muzzle velocities in this game, and you have light machine guns reaching 1,000 meters per second with the KTS. You have assault rifles easily reaching 800, 900, 1,000 meters per second with the L85. And then you look at the maps and the gameplay of Battlefield 6, and you realize there's absolutely no reason for that if they were balancing the game for multiplayer. But they didn't. They made the muzzle velocities this high for RedSec. They wanted people to have an easier time hitting targets at range, so they made the muzzle velocities super high on maps that are generally smaller and more crowded than previous Battlefield maps. This velocity problem is also found with tow missiles and RPGs. They wanted to make the RPG and tow missile easier to use for people in RedSec to kill tanks, okay? That is actually the real reason why there are balance problems with these specific things. Yet another example of this is the fact that headshots just simply don't seem to matter in Battlefield 6. They're not dumb. They knew exactly what they were doing with setting the headshot multipliers as low as they set them in Battlefield 6. They wanted headshots to matter less, so casual players maybe don't get headshotted and die as much. Okay, I'm gonna get shit for that in the comments section, but it has that writing all over it. Yet another example of this design is with snipers. Battlefield 6's snipers are the most overpowered snipers in franchise history. They are even stronger than the snipers in Battlefield 1. They have no flinch. They have sweet spots, gifting people accidental kills for when you hit a body shot. They prevent revive on headshot. They can reach velocities of up to 1,100 meters per second with a suppressor, with frangible rounds or long-range ammo, further reducing the bullet drop, and then if you really want to add the icing on the cake, using the rangefinder completely removes the need for you to account for bullet drop manually. You just aim on a guy's head, doesn't matter if he's 100 meters or 1,000 meters away. If you're aiming at his head, everything will be done for you, and all you have to do is click. All of these issues are Battlefield 6 gameplay issues, okay? And all of these issues are reducing the depth and nuance of Battlefield 6, which is the main issue of the game. The gameplay should be good enough, so it is really the main content of the game. You don't want the main content being new things being added, because that means the gameplay isn't good enough to really keep people entertained, and it isn't good enough to retain interest. Probably beating a dead horse here, but Battlefield 4 did not have this problem very clearly. People happily played Battlefield 4 for over a decade because the gameplay of that game was just a lot more interesting. So we'll see how Season 2 shapes up. I would really like to see them come out just guns blazing. I want, big paragraphs addressing gameplay problems. I want to see the maps. I want to see the content. I want to see communication. I want to see the game moving in the correct path. I still think Battlefield 6 is a good game. I still think they have the potential to make this game one of the best Battlefields ever made. It just comes down to how they approach it, okay? It comes down to what they address, how they address it, and when all the dust settles, when the game is 2 years old, we might be looking at, one of the better Battlefields ever made. And I really hope that's the case, but we shall see. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed content like this and want to keep up to date with Battlefield 6, hit the sub button, hit the like button, and let me know what you want to see in Season 2.